Hello, trading has closed on September 15th, 2025. As always, we start with our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then make our predictions. It's my trading plan for Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. At this point, it's just a plan. I can change it and I can be wrong. Also, overnight futures haven't opened yet. They could have some kind of huge gap I know nothing about, and that might change things. Well, we said we had the pattern with the early high, which is this, and tomorrow should have the early low. I said this was pretty negative stuff, and the only thing that would kill the idea would be to gap and promptly overtake this high. Well, we gapped and overtook the high, so before the open, the prediction was killed. Once again, when the prediction is canceled, it doesn't cost me any money. Here's what we said. Let's reverse by gapping and promptly overtaking the high day. Should lead to lower prices, but the bulls had to do that. They did. They've gapped up quite a few days in a row. It can't go on forever. Doesn't mean it has to stop now. We had an ultimate buy signal in the morning. We did trade higher. That's played out. These squiggles were called false moves, and they've already retraced, so that's played out. We are still trading over the upper Bollinger Band. We don't have to go below it tomorrow, but we just don't stay up here very long. Again, that doesn't tell us anything about what happens tomorrow. We had a few negative things. Let's see how this new high changed them. One was we had resistance at this trend line. We have gapped completely over the trend line, and that's a valid break. Now it has to be maintained. You really want to go at least 1 cent over this close, and if we go back under this trend line in the next few days, that kills the break. But for right now, it's threatening to kill the idea of a top in this area. We have to keep close tabs on that. We also had this old count where E had a good relationship to the rest of this possible ending diagonal triangle, but it doesn't anymore. It isn't hard to make a modest change in the count. If you call this, instead of being an ending diagonal triangle, if that's wave C, if that's A and that's B, you're right at the 78.6. And how about this gray C being twice A? Has that been killed? It's really not quite as perfect as I would like, to be very honest. If we drop right from here, fine, but it's possible this whole idea is the wrong idea. Let's just see how we open tomorrow, because we're having a break through these trend lines, which usually offer resistance. Now again, any break has to be confirmed. We open under these lows. This break doesn't count, and that we don't know. But we're on the verge of invalidating the idea for a top in this area, even though at some point we do have to correct. Well, Tuesday's pattern has the early low regardless of where we open. Typically it's a rally day with a high in the final hour, but if it's weak, more weakness follows. Often it's an irregular pattern. We gapped up, we hit a higher high, but closed under intraday highs, and if maintained at the open, it's a negative pattern, should lead to lower prices even if we don't close lower. Now all we have to do to break the pattern is to gap and promptly overtake the high of day. We've been gapping up day after day after day. Certainly we could. We kill the pattern, would confirm a break through trendline resistance. Despite the fact that we're over the upper Bollinger Band and despite the NASDAQ McClellan Oscillator giving a Bollinger Band reversal sell signal on Friday, we continue to hit new all-time highs. When you've got a bunch of sell signals that don't work, often it can lead to much higher prices. Now we can still invalidate this break by reversing quickly, but it's threatening to kill the whole idea here. If we are to reverse in this area, it would be ideal to drop early. If we can't do that, bears may have to wait a bit longer to see the inevitable correction, which shouldn't be too bad in any event. All I can say is I'm glad I have this rule. If you gap sharply in the undesired direction, it kills the call. Because I've had a number of great possibilities for tops here, and they've all been killed before they open, and it doesn't cost me any money. Now again, if we open down here, nothing's changed. We gap up and have another rally like this again, I'm going to have to get my eraser out in all likelihood. Wednesday is the FOMC report. I have no idea what will happen after those. Those lead to pretty big moves. When you're this far over the upper Bollinger Band, it's hard to get a big move to the upside. And everyone knows they're going to cut interest rates. Usually you buy on the rumors, sell on the news, but I just haven't gone short yet. If we would start dropping, I could justify it, but we just haven't started. And so I've had a lot of canceled calls. So it's the pattern tomorrow with the early low. It's usually a rally day. If we're going to drop, it should be early. And if we do drop early and don't break out to a new high, you can still make things work here, but we're on the verge of killing the whole idea. And I'll have to come up with something else if we do. And that's today's call.